Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and there's a lot of all the world's stage stuff in this video. So I think you'll find some of this interesting. Look, coinpaprika.com, one of my sponsors. The market is real flat. So again, like I said in the last video, not a lot to talk about there. I wanted to show you this and kind of a lot of you were not there. But you might remember that there was a drop gold campaign from Grayscale. And remember, Grayscale is owned by the digital currency group, which is run by Barry Silbert. Barry Silbert's the same guy that we know in 2016 because he tweeted that they owned XRP. Then later in like 2019, he tweeted that XRP was, quote, not on our conviction list yet. But he's never been willing to comment on it since then. So that was red flag city to me. But in crypto, what digital asset has had more FUD against it than any? It's XRP. They have, since I got in, when I discovered what XRP was, then it was called Ripple back in 2013. And I literally went down the list on CoinMarketCap and clicked on all the links to see what kind of companies were around these digital assets. And when I saw Ripple, I knew there was no going back because I knew that here's a group of smart people that are working on this use case. So anyway, but since that time, we've seen a drop gold campaign. In other words, what they wanted you to do is drop gold and go to Bitcoin. They've done the whole industry has done everything in their power to tell you XRP bad, okay? While telling you that things like Shiba Inu and Dogecoin and Ethereum and Bitcoin, proof of work that doesn't work, those are good. Those are great investments. That's what they've told you. And I'm telling you because I've seen it. I've been watching this for a long time. There's a lot, not some, there's a lot of whatever you want to call them, PSYOP. I saw somebody on Twitter today say that all of crypto is a PSYOP. And there's a lot of evidence of those kind of things. The first is, when they're saying drop gold, you know, when I first saw this, I was like, yeah, Bitcoin's great. But as I've learned more, I'm like, nah, come on now. Whoever's behind this, all these powerful people wouldn't be behind this if they didn't know who created it. Okay, so but when I hear drop gold, I'm like, wait a minute, gold's God's money. That's part of the reason I went. I literally wanted to get a gold sponsor on this channel because I'm not buying it, okay? I think that they were intentionally trying to distract average Joe like you and me away from gold and get you to focus on Bitcoin that doesn't work, by the way, while the powerful people, the central banks and all them, they accumulate gold. So that's why Glint's one of my sponsors, because I think there's not a question in my mind that that's going on. Same thing's been done with XRP. So those are the two things that I talk about probably more than anything, is gold and XRP for a reason. So this guy tweeted this: gold is being held in strong hands, central banks, all the powerful, and discouraged. And you know, Jim Rickards one time said, I know tons of billionaires, but I don't know one that doesn't own physical gold. That's what he said. Anyway, by the way, the link to Glint, the link to Glint, if you want to go there and open an account, is in the top of the description of this video. Click on it and tell them DAI sent you. All right, but I'm making a bigger point here. And the question is, how much of all of this that we're watching is a psyop? Because there's so many things that don't make sense. So many things that don't make sense. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today was because of a video that I saw somebody put out. Watch this. This is a video by this person, James Anthony, okay? Problem, reaction, solution. Now, Anna Manuel, who's on the board at Ripple, or either is or was, she's showing a pattern. No, first you have to understand who she is. If there's anybody I've seen that was on Ripple's board that looks like they could be involved in three-letter agencies, it would be this woman. because she's on this organization. She's a member of this organization that's one of those organizations I don't name on this channel. She's all over the Defense Department, you name it. She's a diplomat, national security. She's a partner with Condoleezza Rice and National Security Advisor Stephen Hadley, Secretary of Defense Robert Gates. Anyway, she's obviously hooked up, okay? And she goes to this Aspen Security Summit and runs that every year. But look, as you go down the Aspen strategy groups, a lot of these things are, these organizations, they like scream 3-letter agencies. And as you go down, she is a lecturer and fellow, whatever that is. She's a lecturer at Stanford University. Well, who else is? Well, one person that's a lecturer, not a lecturer, but a professor, is Susan Athey, who's also on Ripple's board. But guess who else is? Katie Hawn, who we've covered a lot in ETHgate. Katie Hawn is the U.S. prosecutor who went after Ripple. And there was a settlement, and that's where XRP was called a virtual currency. So I didn't even look at her other experiences, but if you look down through here, look, Special Assistant to Undersecretary of Public Affairs. So this lady she has the pedigree to be involved in all kinds, no telling what, things we wouldn't even talk about if we knew on this channel. But now I want you to watch this video, because in this video, what I got out of this video is that she is describing how the United States, almost like how, not necessarily the United States, but how propaganda works. In other words, put out all these dire things, but then watch what happens. So listen to this. And when I was listening to this, I remember when I was a kid, the same way now that it's China's going to take over the world, China's going to take over the world, the same exact drumbeat was going on about Japan when I was a kid. There was movies about Japanese automakers, and Japan's going to they're going to surpass the U.S. Same exact thing, folks. So now watch this. I'm going to talk a little bit over it because there's some music, okay? So here we go.
Just a couple of headlines in 3 buckets. First, arrival.
Look at this. The point of modern propaganda isn't only to misinform or push an agenda. It's to exhaust your critical thinking, to annihilate truth. Now, as an XRP, as someone who's been making videos on Ripple and XRP for the last 4 years, 2 or 3 times a day, I can tell you one thing. I have never wavered from my belief that XRP is what I think it is, okay? Meanwhile, it's like a constant battle from every direction to try to throw all of us off of this path, to almost like it's to exhaust your critical thinking and to annihilate truth.
Superior and effective military power. America's enemies claim victory in technology race. Second bucket. No easy cure for the American economy in sight. Stock prices plunge. President sets price ceilings. And the third bucket, this decade will see a disintegrating international order, and the era of U.S. dominance is finished.
By the way, do you see that? Look who's. I'm assuming that the thing she's speaking at, one of the sponsors, Rockefeller,
is finished. Sounds a lot like the doom and gloom of the last few months, right? You'd think so, but no. The first set of these headlines, real newspaper headlines, is actually from the 1950s and 60s, when we were worried about the Soviet missile gap and about Sputnik. Did the US complain or give up? No. We worked on a bipartisan basis to revamp our science and technology education system, to kindle Silicon Valley and other innovation hubs, and we became the most innovative economy in the world. The second set of headlines are from the economic worries of the 1960s and the stagflation of the 1970s. What did we do? We took some painful economic medicine, we raised interest rates, we got it under control, And eventually we created the longest economic boom in our history. And the third set of headlines, the defeatist talk about the disintegrating international order and US dominance being finished, those are actually from the early 1980s, believe it or not. Did we turn tail and go home? No. We finished the Cold War peacefully with some ingenious diplomacy. We reunited Europe, and we weathered many crises successfully in the last 3 decades.
Wow. So I want you to look back here. Think about all of the things that have been done just with regard to in crypto. You've got Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these talking heads, all these crypto industry groups, all these things that are working against imagine what all as XRP holders that we've all seen and been through. But the one thing that nobody has ever really been able to challenge you on is whether the facts of what we're seeing. In other words, the irony of crypto as we sit here right now is that XRP is one of the only digital assets that's being used in the real world right now. It's one of the only ones. Meanwhile, you're being told that Bitcoin and Ethereum are this end-all be-all, and they've never worked because proof of work doesn't work. So my point in saying all of this is this just made my all the world's stage file B file. I'm on the B file since it's gotten so big. And the thing that I'm always reminded of more than anything I've seen since I got in this space, this thing that they did at Harvard, and look, Larry Summers is one of the advisors. Okay, I was hearing something, my son. Larry Summers is one of the advisors at the Digital Currency Group, and he was at this Digital Currency Wars, this national security crisis simulation. And I'll never forget it because I was watching it and I was thinking, they're literally, it's almost like they're trying to make China and the world think that, oh, we're way behind China and they're way ahead of us and we got to catch up. It was like watching an operation, and Gary Gensler was there. I mean, so yeah, this goes in the all the world's a stage. Now, do you remember? I want to show you this. This is the guy that created Hedera Hashgraph, but I want to show you this because it makes a larger point. This guy's like genius level, okay? But I want to show it for this reason. The guy, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He's also an advisor at the Digital Currency Group. He's a Federal Reserve banker. I'm going to think of his name in a minute. But anyway, he's the guy that was on stage. At one point, he was on stage with Jay Clayton. But he's the guy that was saying that the values in the protocol and that the prices are a distraction and all of that. Man, I've talked about him 10,000 times on this channel, and I'm drawing Glenn Hutchins. I think Glenn Hutchins. Anyway, he said that the values in the protocol. And see, a lot of people have not really gotten their mind around this. No utility, and this is where I think we're at. You're about to find out that no utility, no value. And I think at some point, that's going to be a realization that hits a lot of these people that are investing in garbage between the eyes. But this guy that's what he's talking about here, folks. He's talking about the protocol that is Hedera Hashgraph, he's not saying it's going to be worth a lot, but that's without saying it. That's exactly what he's saying, is that the values in the protocol. This is a great clip.
This is actually changing the world. I am excited because this is making a difference. It is going to make people's lives better for the next 100 years. And so we've always said from the beginning, we're building a 100-year project. These aren't just words. The plan from the beginning has been to do, the opposite of a pump and dump, to build something of true value.
Yes, the opposite of a pump and dump, not a Shiba Inu that does nothing. The opposite of a pump and dump, something that has real utility. And in other words, that's where the value is really going to come, real value. If I can get it to keep playing.
Value that is a real utility to the entire planet. And let me tell you, we're only seeing the very beginning of how ledgers are going to transform society and the economy and government and everything else. Ledgers are going to play a part in every part of society. Now, I'm not saying everything will be done on a ledger, just like not everything is done on the internet. But just like the internet has become part of each single part of the economy and of society and of education and of medicine. Everything has the internet as a little part of it. We're going to see ledgers as a little part of everything.
Yeah. So one point I want to make before I go, when I say all the world is a stage, what I mean by that is, because I don't normally define it, it's not really something I want to define, but in this whole thing, in this whole Ripple saga, I believe that there's some all the world's a stage and there is some corruption. I think it's a mixture of both. Okay. So just wanted to make sure you understood that. All right, check this out from Crypto Bull. Would you wait 15 more months for $29 and 23 more months for $230 XRP price? Would you wait for a $230 XRP price? I will be waiting because I do believe that XRP will go to those heights. That's just my opinion. Okay, I think I'm going to cut this thing off here. Let me show you two other things before. Let me see. I'll touch that maybe tomorrow. Binance removes USDC as tradable asset on its platform. I do not understand this. This is they said, I think they're converting USDC into Binance US, their own stable coin, I guess is what that means. Then there's this El Salvador's grand Bitcoin experiment fizzles in the first year. Proof of work doesn't work. Ryan Zagone. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. Go to the top of the description, click on the glint link. Tell them DAI sent you. Thanks.